Earlier this week, Japanese indie developer Pocket Pair released their newest game, Palworld, on PC and Xbox platforms. The multiplayer survival crafting game features Pokemon-like monsters and has been a sales success, reaching over 2 million units sold since release. This Pokemon with Guns game has one glaring issue that anyone familiar with the Pokemon franchise will spot right away. Much of the monsters in the game are actually reskins of Pokemon characters. Several people have come forward online posting examples of Palworld monsters that are literal recolors of famous Pokemon characters. While this blatant stealing of content may come as a surprise to some, it will not be as surprising to people that have played Pocket Pair's previous biggest game, Craftopia. Released in 2020 as an early access game, Craftopia is a multiplayer survival crafting game that is basically a reskin of the wildly successful Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. From the enemy designs being lifted reskins of enemies from Breath of the Wild, to the cooking and crafting systems being pretty much the same, to the player having Link's stamina meter and paraglider, we see the same modus of operandi on display that we've seen in Palworld. This leads many to believe that Pocket Pair is specifically intentionally lifting the Pokemon assets and are banking on their reskinning efforts being just enough to avoid legal issues with the Pokemon Company. Back in 2021, when Palworld was first revealed to the public, Pocket Pair CEO Takuro Mizobe gave an interview with The Gamer in which he made the claim that Palworld was not inspired by Pokemon at all. In the interview, Mizobe tried to play up the survival and crafting elements as bigger inspirations for the game, citing Ark, Rust, and other games as inspiration. This attempt to downplay the obvious Pokemon influences didn't move the needle much with the public perception, as the game is still known colloquially as Pokemon with Guns. What is more revealing about the interview is the conscious effort by Mizobe to publicly disavow connections between Palworld and Pokemon. This effort is clearly a legal CYA maneuver from a company that has documented history of taking best-selling games, reskinning and stealing assets, and making their own games. Giving these statements during an interview was for the legal purpose of putting it in the public record should Pocket Pair have to defend themselves in court for stealing. Another interesting factor is that Mizobe is a major proponent of AI. In AI Art Imposter, one of Pocket Pair's previous games, an AI generator is used as the core game mechanic. Mizobe also has a history of making posts on X supporting the use of generative AI in taking and reformatting already existing copyrighted material. In some particularly damaging posts, Mizobe shows how generative AI can be used to make Pokemon-like characters. He also made a post stating that he believes that AI-generated art will reach a point where worrying about copyright will no longer be an issue. This has led some to speculate that Pocket Pair used AI generators to alter existing Pokemon designs for use in Palworld. Mizobe responded to this speculation in a blog post where he claims that the character designer for Palworld created nearly all 100 creature designs by herself. Combat gameplay in Palworld is lifted directly from Pokemon's Legends Arceus, where the only noticeable differences being the use of guns to shoot at the monsters and the removal of the turn-based element. Players battle wild pals and weaken them to the point that they can throw a spherical capsule device that captures the pal. The device even has the same 3 shake animations that Pokeballs use. There are strong pal tamers that the players will have to battle against during their quest. If we are being perfectly honest, aside from the edgelord take of Pokemon with Guns, there's nothing really that special about Palworld as a monster collecting game. There have been several games that have more refined gameplay loops, much better designed monsters, actually being original designs and not blatant rip-offs of Pokemon designs. Yokai Watch, Dragon Quest Monsters, Fossil Fighters, Ni no Kuni, these are all examples of sincere efforts in the monster collecting genre, and while they have never had the social media hype machine behind them, they stand the test of time as good games on their own merits without copy-pasting from Pokemon. What Palworld does have going for it is the social media trend. Palworld has taken off with streamers eager to hop on to the latest fad game to farm engagement. A similar thing, though on a smaller scale, happened with Temtem, another Pokemon clone game that met with decent social media perception and was trending for a little while. In response to the controversy, many online have rushed to the defense of the game with flimsy justifications such as Pokemon deserves to be ripped off because it is a successful franchise, or that the game is better than Pokemon simply because it is released on PC. The thing about these claims is that they completely ignore and or brush off the fact that it's all stolen content. Everything about Palworld can be sourced to other, more successful franchise games. The building and crafting is a combination of Ark, Survival Evolved, and Fortnite. The gunplay is taken heavily from Fortnite. The combat system is based on Legends Arceus. When it comes to originality, there is very little in Palworld that Pocket Pair can actually claim is something that they created on their own. It's clear from Pocket Pair's history of releases, as well as their upcoming releases, the company has turned stealing content from more successful games, twisting it slightly, and publishing it as their own games is their successful business model. And if they continue down this road, they're eventually going to reach a point where they steal from the wrong people and end up in some serious legal trouble. There is already speculation that if Nintendo and the Pokemon Company decide to fight Pocket Pair on this stolen content, this may lead to stronger oversights in the gaming industry to prevent AI content theft. With the Palworld game being in the early access model, it means that Pocket Pair can continue to build upon the game as they did with Craftopia. Safe money is on the developers adding new monsters to the game and probably expanding the game world, which is rather limited right now. However, the question remains, does the game have any actual substance to endure the test of time, as with Pokemon? Or is this game destined to be another Temtem and fade into irrelevance once the social media fad dies down? Only time will tell. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon to help me create more content like this. Thank you, and I will catch you in the next one.